Hey everyone, Marty Snider and Jeff Burton and Steve Letarte joining you for NASCAR America today. Talk about Kyle Larson's dominant win at Las Vegas. Steve, is this a sign of things to come from the 5 team this year, you think?
Well, rinse and repeat. I'm not sure we learned anything that we didn't already know. Hendrick Motorsports is great at Las Vegas. Kyle Larson is great at Las Vegas. And really, I think he picked up where he did a year ago, which I kind of listed as checkers or wreckers. The 5-car speed in 2023 was never in question. His speed off the truck in Las Vegas didn't shock anyone. I think the question was, could the 5-car put together a clean race, a calm race, a smooth race? And that's exactly what they did. And for that reason, they're celebrating because it was an impressive, dominant performance out of Kyle Larson. And really, the entire 5 team, I only say that because Pit Road was kind of the bane of some other team's existence, not the 5 team. They were smooth all day.
Well, look, I'm with Steve. Like, I'm not surprised that Kyle Larson was that fast and this team was that fast. Their weak point last year was at times they didn't execute the way they needed to. There were a lot of times last year that things happened that really were out of their control. But ultimately, at the end of the day, your success is always, ultimately in your control. And on a day that they had the fastest car, they didn't do anything to mess it up, and nothing happened to them to have it messed up for them. So if this team has those kind of races, they're going to have speed. This isn't a question of whether or not they have race winning speed on a consistent basis, because they will. Can you execute? Can you do the things you need to at the right time? And this is one of those days that he did it, and every bit of it. And that's what it takes. Steve said it. This field is as close as it's ever been. Any mistake at all takes you out of position to win a race. You can't afford it, especially at the wrong time. And this team had brought everything they needed, and they executed.
So, Jeff, coming into the year, all the talk was about the new Ford car, the new Toyota car, and everyone called Las Vegas the first real race of the year. You said last week, Vegas, we would learn a lot. What did we learn after the race?
Well, look, there's nobody that surprised me, right? I didn't know Gragson finishing the way he's finished. I wouldn't have had that. But I wasn't surprised by the people that had the speed. I do think, however, we have to be careful to judge the Toyotas and the Fords on one race. There's a whole lot left to go. Those guys are going to come home. They're going to learn. They're going to be able to apply. They're going to get better. So as close as it is, if somebody makes a small gain, they don't have to make massive gains, a small gain, then it will look like an unbelievable gain because of the speed difference. It's just so narrow. I think there's a lot of juice left for those guys to go get, and I think that they will. And I think that they will make it harder and harder as the year goes on.
It sounds crazy, Jeff, but I would actually give the Ford and the Toyotas a high mark for the first 3 races, even though Chevy has gone on to win all 3 races. And I'll use kind of what I saw throughout the race. Let's talk Toyota. It wasn't just a Toyota. It wasn't just Tyler Reddick. I'd be concerned if it was a singular Toyota running up front, but that wasn't the case. The 54 had pace. The 11, after poor qualifying, got up front and ran inside the top 5. We saw the 19 consistently inside the top 10. So I thought there was a lot of overall speed out of the Toyota camp. And then Ford, you mentioned Noah Gragson. Well, look, it's always been Ryan Blaney. Sometimes Joey Logano will jump on the 12 train at times. A little bit in the middle of last year was RFK and Chris Buescher. Well, now we see Stuart Haas up there at different times. We see a variety of Fords. I think that's what you're looking for out of a new vehicle, is improvement across. So while we look at the top performer from each manufacturer, I think if you look at the totality of the Ford camp and the Toyota camp, I think, as crazy as this sounds, the average across the group has actually gone up. Even though they're short of the top of the podium, I think their overall average is better than it was a year ago.
Jeff, last week we talked about 2 former champions who looked like they were in trouble. Brad Keselowski did not have a great Las Vegas, but Joey Logano, it may not look very impressive. He wound up finishing 9th, got a couple of stage points in there as well. Could you consider that sort of a recovery run for the 22 team?
So Marty, I been doing this for a long time, and when you come out of the first 2 races, with the issues that they had, to go have a solid race that you can build off of, I think that's exceptionally important. Did they have race winning speed? They did not. Did they perform the way that Joey Logano and his team expect to? No, they didn't. But they got points. They had a consistent day. They didn't have major issues, and now they have something that they can go build on. And I think that's important just to get a foundation. Look, points matter. I don't care what anybody says. Points matter. And they dug themselves a hole with the first 2 races. They got to dig themselves out. And this was the start of digging themselves out. So overall, it was a positive day for them.
Well, points matter, and I think that hole that you're talking about is going to be hard to fill in and harder than in years past because of the depth of the field. At the end of stage 2, the leaders had run basically all under green, and they were only lapping like 26th or 27th position. When I look through the field, I think it's closer than ever. It's hard to believe with Larson leading as many laps as you would say that, but if you ignore Larson and Reddick, who ran 1-2 in both stages, the rest of it, think of the names we don't consistently see up there. Corey LaJoie ran well all day long until he had his issues late. Carson Hocevar actually finished nearly as high as he had run at any point. Austin Dillon, Noah Gragson. As those teams improve, they're taking points from someone, right? It isn't free points for everyone. You have to go out and earn them. And I only say that because a dominant day like Kyle Larson's kind of fixes everything. But those solid days that we refer to so much and how you fill that points bucket, solid is going to be very, very hard because one slip up can cost you 5, 8, 10 points really in a blink of an eye.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.